How are you?
All right, so now we are in Cyrodiil, and it's the afternoon, and it's raining. Everything's working. I took a look around first, making sure that my internet was not being stupid again. So now I can talk about enchanting and spellcrafting. So the way you do this is you have to unlock the Arcane University, at least originally. There's other ways to do it now, but I recommend you do it this way. But let's just go there and I'll show you what it looks like. If you've never been to the Arcane University, here it is. There's a big mage's tower there. It's actually the Archmage's Tower. And there's a room in there at the base that you can get into right away. These doors are locked. You can't get through those doors, at least initially. But this is where the magic occurs, or where it used to occur. Now it can occur other places, but let's look at this place. Let's focus here first, and then we'll talk about the other places. So why would you even want to bother with this? Here, let me close out this window so it doesn't consume anything. Well, because we can do better than the default enchants in many cases. So, for instance, this Akavari Warblade. You'd think this was at a vendor the other day, and I saw this, I'm like, damage health on strike, damage fatigue on strike, damage magic on strike. You might think, that's amazing. Oh my gosh, I want to buy that. It's worth that 5,000 plus gold. No, it's not. It's not really good at all. In fact, it's pretty bad. It's using a lot of enchant power on something that doesn't really give you much. Damaging fatigue on enemies is not all that helpful. Damaging their magicka is not that helpful. This is a piddly amount of health to whittle away for so many charges of an enchant, right? Because you have to recharge this thing when it depletes. So it's just sort of a waste. Well, you want to make your own enchants. That's what you really ultimately want to do. You want to make them for your weapons. You want to make them for your armor. And the way you do that is you join the Mages Guild. So first of all, you obtain the Join the Mages Guild quest. I always go to Coral because it's very close to Waynham Priory, and that's where you get sent initially when you exit the sewers. So I go do a bunch of stuff in the market, then I run over to Waynham Priory, turn that in, get the follow-up, then I run into Coral, join the Mages Guild, and then I start doing the Mages Guild recommendation quest. Now there's one for every major city, and there's 7 major cities, one Mages Guild hall in each, so you have to do each of the recommendations from each of those cities, all 7. And if you look back through my playlist, you can see where I've done them all, right? So I did all those. When you're all done with that, then you go to the Arcane University and you turn in the Join the Mages Guild quest. They keep talking to me. And you talk to Raminus Paulus at the Arcane University, and he's in the base of this Archmage Tower. So let's go talk to him real quick. Now, of course, I've already turned this in, so he won't have like the, oh, welcome to the Mages Guild quest or anything like that. So here's Raminus Paulus. Hello, dude.
I hope I can help.
Yes, you already did. And we already did all the things. So we don't need to do it again.
Hello, Master.
In fact, you won't talk to me at all about this.
Are they traces of the mythic times?
Just ignore those guys. So once you talk to him the first time and he joins, he welcomes you to the Archmage University. That unlocks. Oh, Jesus, dude! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Jeez, Louise. That unlocks this door and this door over here. And it also unlocks... I should turn down the voices. Let me do that, because they're really annoying. For this aspect of it right now, dialogue volume. Let's take you down to 2. What can I do for you? All right, so now when you go to this door, it unlocks. And when you go to this door over here, it unlocks. We'll just unlock these. Nice. We'll go back into the Archmage's Tower. And now this door right here will still be locked. It's not locked to me now because I did a quest. But this one will be locked, this one will be unlocked, and this one will be unlocked. So let's go through this one. And we're going to go look at the Enchanting altar. And that is in the Chironasium. And that's the second from rightmost building. So these buildings all along the back wall here around the perimeter, there's this building and then the Chironasium. So we're going to go in there. And there are these altars of enchanting right here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. I've shown these before in my previous videos when I first came in here, but we're going to actually walk through this and see how this all works. So how do you enchant something? Well, you have to have 3 things. You have to have a piece of gear that you want to enchant, whether it's a weapon or armor or jewelry. Then you have to have a soul gem of some level of quality. Then you have to have a spell. And in this case, I'm going to just, as a quick example, I'm just going to grab this bronze amulet. That's the first tab here. The next tab over, I'm going to just pick like a really nasty, lowly, petty soul. And then you can see this is filled, this is filled. Now I'm going to go to the last one. And I'm just going to choose, this is just rough, right? I'm just showing this to show it. Let's just choose shield, whatever this list of effects is. I have this, so I'm just going to shield, and I can't really do anything else, right? It's not, I don't get options to change this number because this number is based upon the quality of the soul that's in this gem. And right now it's just a petty soul. If I were to add a better soul, so like a greater soul, and I go over to magic or to shield, you see it's 9%. That's a little bit better. That's nice. It's actually a really good shield. Now, if I wanted it better still, I would use a grand soul inside of a grand gem. And that might be like 10%. I forget what the number is. But the thing is that a lot of the gear that you can get is going to be better than what you can make. But it's also somewhat clumsily built sometimes. Like I have a really nice Spectre ring that I bought for like 12,000 gold because it had a lot of really nice effects on it. Yes, it has these 2 negative effects, but it has 100 feather, 25% chameleon, and security and sneak. This is like a thief dream come true, right? I don't really need endurance or strength when I'm thieving. So, and I can't put this much on a single item. I just can't. But I can custom tailor items and perhaps, use them in groups. So I could maybe, have a mithril cuirass that has feathering on it, right? If I just want to be able to carry a bunch of crap around, that's 41 points of feathering. As long as I'm wearing this, I'm feathered. Or if I want, let's see, what else could I do? Let's take this off. Let's do a Detect Life spell, 17 feet. Well, that's not that much. Fortify Magicka. That's nice. Give myself a little bit of extra Magicka just on this one item by wearing it. And of course, you have to weigh that against the benefits of the other items that you can just find when you're out and about. So I have this Chameleon Cuirass. I have these Chainmail Greaves that have nothing. Obviously, this one's sort of OP because it's the end of the long quest chain. Helmet of the Lemur is nice. If I were to try to replicate that on a mithril helmet, let's try that. Mithril helmet. Let's try this Greater Soul. And then Resist Magic. Magic Resist. Magic Resist. I don't have that one. Interesting. Wonder why that is. I might have to go get that somewhere. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. But that's how you enchant things. And you can enchant weapons, too. So, like if I wanted to, I could enchant this fine steel dagger with a petty soul. I'm just going with the low end first, just to show you. And let's say that I wanted it to do frost damage when I hit, right? I want it to do, say, 20 frost damage. And since, it's just stabby, I don't really need any kind of a duration. So I could say confirm, and now I can give it a name, Frosty Stabby, right? And I can enchant that. Or if I wanted it to be more powerful, I could do that as well. Now, at the bottom, when it's a weapon, we're going to see this number 4 here in the middle. That's how many charges it has. Now, since I'm working with a petty soul, it's not going to have a lot of charge. So that's not great. It's not a great option for this dagger. Instead, what I want to do is I want to pick a different one. I want to pick like a greater soul. And now if I go over here and I choose this frost damage and I go like 20, you can see I have 35 charges on this. So I can stab a whole bunch before I need to recharge it. And that can be really useful if you're, in the middle of doing a bunch of things. You don't have to charge it every 3 seconds, like stab, stab, charge, stab, stab, charge. It's not very efficient. Now, you can also enchant bows. And I have a bow that's enchanted, and I just sort of left it completely uncharged because I don't find it useful to have enchants on bows, but you can do it. I don't have a bow on me that I can use for this, but yeah, I thought I had bought one, but I guess that was a different save that I was testing things. But I do have a bunch of melee weapons, mostly daggers, which are the best melee weapon in this version of the game. I do have a weapon called Chill Rend, which I did get at the end of a quest. A series of steps in this quest reward you with this weapon, and this is a fairly decent weapon because it has 2 really interesting things on it. It has, let's just open this up so I don't have to keep doing this. It has this effect, frost damage, and then it has weakness to frost. Well, that's really cool because the way this works is I can hit and it does some frost damage, right? And that's okay. But then it also debuffs the enemy with this weakness to frost. So my second hit does a little bit more damage. Then my third hit does more damage still. This like stacks a little bit over time. So not only is the weapon doing its 5 melee damage, but I'm also getting this nice frost effect, right? Just frost damage right on top of that. Now it's almost out of charges. You can see it starts at 1920 and I'm only at 240. So I only have 10 uses left, but it would normally have, 50, 60 stabs in it before it exhausted its soul charge. So I could, charge that back up by doing a couple things. And I'm sure you, probably by now, you've seen this soul trap spell, right? This soul trap where you cast it on an enemy, and if you kill them within this 20 seconds, it's a 20-second window where you have soul trap active on the enemy. So you cast it, stabby, 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 shooty, 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 whatever you're doing, and then they die, and if they die within that 20 seconds, then it sucks their soul into one of your soul gems. Specifically an empty soul gem, right? So do I have soul gems that are empty? Yes, I have 2 common soul gems here that are not filled. I'm using a mod that adds this text at the end. I have 3 grand soul gems that are empty. I have 2 lesser soul gems that are empty. If I look up higher, I have 2 black soul gems. These are what you need if you want to capture the souls of humans. So like bandits, thieves, things like that. I also have this thing called Azura's Star, which I did a video on just the other day. If you want to watch that, you can go watch that and see how to obtain that. But this is technically a soul gem. And it's a soul gem just like the Grand Soul Gem. It can't capture a human soul, I believe, but it can capture creature souls, including grand souls for like high-level creatures. So what's beautiful about this is if I wanted to, I could use this to recharge my dagger. Like deplete, deplete, capture soul, it goes into here, and then I can use that to recharge my dagger. And it's beautiful because this item never goes away. You just use it, recharge it, use it, recharge it, use it, recharge it. It's a very nice item to have, and you can get it at like level 1 or 2. Probably even just level 1. But right now it's empty because there's no soul in it, so I can't use it to recharge anything. And one of the provisos here is that you cannot use a black soul gem or the Azura's Star, I believe. I believe you can't use the Azura's Star. Maybe you can use the black soul gems. I just don't have a filled one. To enchant things. So don't quote me on this. I would have to come back with them being filled before, you know, I say anything definitive. But just assume for the moment that you can use them. I just don't have any filled ones, so I can't say either way. So that's Enchanting. Very, very powerful. And actually, if you want to look at what's absolutely powerful, and one of the reasons I wanted to do all this is I wanted to enchant a really good dagger like this Elven dagger with a very specific set of things. So I'm going to use this. This is the most powerful thing I have. It's not perfect. It's a greater soul, not a grand soul, but I can still do this. And there's a certain order that I want on here. I want to put 4 things on this. And it may seem really weird and unintuitive, but this really works. So I'm going to put Soul Trap for 1 second. I'm going to say yes. So this is, you can have many items here, many things here, several things, or just one thing. Like you can just have fire damage, and that's it. The more things, of course, will cost more, and they will have fewer charges on the item. But we're just going to go with baby things for now. So Soul Trap, just 1 second, because I can hit with a dagger more than 1 second at a time. So I can go stab, 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 stab. So it's like a half a second each. So 1 second is all I need. And then let's see, let's do, say, shock damage. So I'm going to do something weird here, and I'm only going to put like 10 shock damage. And it's only going to be 1 second. So again, very minimal cost. It still leaves me with 70 charges. This is a very good amount. We'll just do this here. When this exceeds a certain amount, then this is how much the soul gem has in it. Like this greater soul has like up to 60, and I can't exceed that. That's basically the way this works. This is the amount of charge that I can put. So now we're going to go weakness to shock. So remember that chill rend? It had chill damage, then weakness to chill, because it allows you on multiple hits to amplify the effect of the elemental damage. So I'm going to basically crank this to 100. And look at that. It barely used any more. If I go down, it only uses 6 charges, or eats up 6 charges to bring this all the way to 100. And again, a duration of just 1, because I'm going to be hitting really, really fast, right? Now, if I was worried, I could bring this to 2, but I do lose 10 charges. So I'm just going to leave this at 1 for now. I'm going to say confirm. And now the piece de la resistance is weakness to magic. Again, 100, duration of 1, and now confirm. Now, this is sort of the perfect enchant. You have Soul Trap, Shock, some kind of elemental damage. It could be just one of them, or it can be all of them even, all 3 of them. Weakness to one of them, or all 3 of them. And of course, you would have to be careful to figure out, you know, how much of the charges you're using and all that. But just one element, it's actually fairly generous. And then weakness to magic. Now, the way this works is, the Soul Trap is a separate thing, right? That way I don't have to cast Soul Trap on the enemy. I can just run up and stab it, and it just automatically is being Soul Trapped. The shock damage, weakness to shock, and weakness to magic, these sort of compound the effect of the shock damage. So yes, the first hit is 10 points, but the second hit is going to be like 40 points, because this doubles it and this doubles it. So 10, 40, 160, 640. It just like amplifies really fast. So what you'll notice, I'm going to test this, and you'll see the first hit doesn't do much damage. The second one does a lot more. The third one, the enemy's dying, right? It's not going to survive a third hit unless it's Umbra, in which case she's really tough, and she's got a lot of armor, and I killed her with this in a test, but you know, she basically is a brute. So, I'm going to go ahead and create this. I'm going to call this, let's see, Shock the Monkey, just because it's funny. I'm going to say, let's enchant this dagger, and let's go take a look at it. Let's go take a look at Shock the Monkey. Shock the Monkey. Now, if I go look at this, it's beautiful. It's enchanted. It has 41 uses, 1,200 charge, which is bad. It should be 1,600. Which is what you get with a Grand Soul in a Grand Soul Gem, or in a Black Soul Gem, or maybe in Azura Star. I don't know. Maybe. I haven't tried it. But this is a perfect enchant. And you'll see it works amazingly. So let's go try this, and you'll see why we might want to enchant our own weaponry and our own armor. So let's go kill some things. Let's go down to like Vendazel. Let's go sneaky first. And let's pull up my headless zombie. That way he can tank if needed. Vendazel. This is where Umbra is, by the way. Right, anything around here? Let's protect my horse. See how fast he dies? The first hit doesn't do much. But that third and fourth hit, it's like insane. See that? If I take longer than a second, but you can see I've captured all sorts of souls here. Now, if I look at my inventory and I look at my gems, I can see I have a black soul gem with a grand soul, a black soul gem with a grand soul, because I captured those souls from those enemies, those human enemies, just from stabbing them. It did everything. It stabbed them, it did damage, it debuffed them. Mwah! Perfect. All right, so let's try... I don't want to do Umbra because she's just annoying and I don't feel like doing it. But it's, you can see as an example, it's just phenomenal. Did I capture... No, I would not have been able to capture in a Grand Soul Gem because those were humans and you can't capture human souls in a regular Grand Soul Gem. But I got a Silver Dagger, potion of that. Let's see this other guy here. Exactly what I wanted to happen is to have humans here. So that was nice. So now you can see, if you watch closely, if you slow it down and just step through it, you'll see the first hit did a little bit of damage. The second one did a lot more damage. The third one basically erased him. It was insane. And it was like stab, stab, stab. That was it. And they were dead. Good as dead. It's phenomenal. But that's why you want to enchant a dagger, your own dagger that way. Now, if I'd done a short sword or some other kind of weapon, I would have to pad out those times so that the dagger, this Shock the Monkey dagger, so it was like 2 seconds or 3 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds, and I would get maybe 20 uses out of it, 10 uses, and I might not even be able to use this Greater Soul. I might have had to make sure I'm using a Grand Soul to do that, and that's fine. I will definitely be remaking this very same enchant using another Elven dagger when I can find one, and then I will use a Grand Soul from probably one of these Black Soul Gems, right? Let's go try that right now just to see what that looks like and make sure that we can use a Black Soul Gem to do this. I'm pretty sure we can. I do need to get a collection of Grand Souls and then use the special right. Where is it? No, let's go this way. Those beams of light that come down on altars throughout the world that appear like every so often. You can convert Grand Soul Gems into Black Soul Gems, and those can capture human souls, which is really nice. Okay, so let's try this again, and let's test my theory here. I'm pretty sure I'm right. I'm pretty sure I can use Black Soul Gem. Yeah, there we go. Grand Soul, right. So now if I were to do the same spell, right, remember the numbers from before. If I were to do Soul Trap, just 1 second is all I need. Then if I were to do shock damage of 10, 1 second. Weakness to shock, 100. Weakness to magic, 100. You can see I have 55 charges in there. And that's pretty darn good compared to what I was. This silver dagger, the actual damage of the dagger is not really all that important. This dagger would be more powerful than the other one, especially if I went and I said confirm and I went back up here and I said, let's do 12 shock damage. It'll ramp up even faster than before. So I could do this and say confirm and say shock the gorilla, right? Say, yeah, let's do this. Now I have a shock the gorilla dagger, and it has even faster ramping. Even though the actual white damage on the weapon is lower, this white damage is largely irrelevant. It contributes almost nothing to the damage you're doing. So 5, 3, doesn't matter. I mean, yes, aesthetically, it's nice to have this on a 5 weapon, which is what I'll probably do. So I want to actually undo this because I don't want to commit that specific gem to that specific purpose. Okay, so now we've looked at enchanting. Let's look at spell making or spell crafting. It's all the way at the other end, the leftmost building in this rear area, all the way over here. It is the Praxographical Center. And if, I even notated it here. Praxographical Center is the leftmost building, which is weird because it's not center, right? Haha, pun. So if we come in here and we go to this altar of spell making, now we have a similar sort of a layout, a thing on the left, a thing on the right. We can click one of these things, like feather, for instance, and we get a similar set of bars that we can move around, and we have to name it, and we get to, here's the effect that we want. The difference here is that I believe we can only have one effect. Oh, no, that's right. We can have multiple effects. That's right. What am I thinking? Okay, so I don't want to do feather, but let's say I want to fortify 2 different attributes. So let's say I want to fortify my intelligence on myself. You just click on this and it'll change. Let's say I want to bring this up to maybe 30. And I want to do it for like, let's make this a while. 30 seconds. Now you can see that I'm way over limit here. Okay, so I can't do that. So let's bring the magnitude down. And I'll say confirm. Okay, so that's good. Now I want to add another fortify attribute. And I want to go fortify willpower. So I get more like regeneration speed. So I'll do this by 20. I'll do it for another 20 seconds. Confirm. Okay, that's good. And let's say that that's good enough. I'll just say fortify int and will 2020, whatever, right? So let's just create that spell. And now I have a spell. And I can go in here to my spell book, and it will appear in my list of all spells. So fortify int and willpower, 20 and 20 for 30 seconds. Well, 30 seconds and 20 seconds. I messed up on the second one. Cost is 97. And the ability to craft a better spell will come as you level up your skill in that school. So my alteration is 46, so I can't enchant or I can't create spells that would require 50 alteration. I can't craft spells that would require 75 conjuration, right? I can only do the one that's in novice, apprentice, journeyman, expert. I can only craft what I can cast. So at least I'm pretty sure. I think I always back out when I'm creating something and I can't, it says you can't cast this. It's like, what's the point, right?
How are things?
But let's say that I want to actually cast this spell.
You'll never leave the feedback.
And now I can look in here and see that my intelligence and willpower have been buffed at the same time, right? Just ignore these red numbers for now. That's just it's because of the ring I'm wearing. It's just bringing those down. It's the sneaky ring. You can just ignore that. But that's how you create a spell. Now, let's say I wanted to create a spell that I don't have yet that I really want. So I made a chart. I've shown it before, but this is my current chart of the things that I want. which is everything here, the things that I know, which are either white or green and not red, or the things I want, which have red in them. So I want Fortify Health. I want Reflect Spell, which I can get from here. I want Chameleon, which I can get from here. I want these effects. I want Open Average Lock. And notice I've put Altar of Spellcrafting here. I want to be able to open an average lock. I can go train the spell. I can go find the NPC that sells it to me. But since I already know the spell, like a lower level version of that spell, I can come in here and I can say, I want to create an open spell lock. I want to click here twice, easy, average, and I'm going to say open, average, lock. And I could say confirm, and it requires an alteration skill of 50. So I'm going to create it. Your skill level's not high enough to create this spell. What can we do about that? Well, let's see. My alteration level is currently 46. Now, what can I do to increase that? Well, I can cast alteration spells over and over. So what if I did that? What if I cast, get the right thing here. Alteration, so we need to find an alteration spell. So I could do Defend, I could do Dragon Skin, I could do, let's see what else. Major Life Detection, or no, that's Mysticism. I guess that would be a good one. Just a shield, right? Now I could do this, and that would be fine, but if you'll notice, it uses very little of the bar when I do this, right? I have to cast it a bunch of times. And that's sort of annoying. So what if I just create a custom spell that let me cast that spell over and over again on myself? It doesn't have to be very long. It can just be like 1 second. And it's, let's see, let's shield me, baby. Or I can just say level alteration, right? Because that's the only reason I'm using it. I can bring this up to, whoops, way too much. I want to basically use as much mana as I can use. So see this 85 here? I have to be careful to stay below the 85. So I have to like move these things around until I get to this spot, right? So if I click confirm, this one requires alteration of 50. So let's bring this down a little bit. Confirm requires this. Okay, let's bring this down. I just have to keep lowering these until I get to the sweet spot where it says it's okay. Okay, there we go. 92% for 4 seconds. So I'm going to create this. And now if we look at the spell, over here, and it's called Level Alteration. Notice it's 44 Magicka. So now it uses a lot more Magicka. And now I have to wait for it to regen, right? No, I don't have to. All I have to do is wait an hour. And I'm nowhere where there would be combat, so now I have a full bar again. So I can just do this again, do this again. Now I'm at 47 Alteration. Wait another hour. And as you hit higher and higher levels, you will consume slightly less Magicka each time. Sorry if it's boring, but I just wanted to show you the process here. I'm going to get to 50 Alteration and then create that spell. Just to show you the process here. Okay, now we're 48. I'm almost level 15, aren't I? Okay, now I can cast one extra cast without waiting because I just hit Alteration 48, and that reduced the cost of the spell just by like 1. So now I can squeeze one extra cast in during this cycle. Remember, in Remastered, the amount of leveling you get is based on the cost of the spell. So the more you can use as far as mana goes, the faster you're going to level it.
The Emperor and his 3 sons dead, right under the note.
Maybe one more cycle would work.
Greetings, apprentice.
Well met.
Any new books you've been reading?
I've been reading Fundaments of Alchemy. I figured I'd learn to learn something new.
Well, that sounds in.
Nope, one more cycle should be it. I love that there's no penalty for waiting, like for taking a timeout. There we go. You've unlocked more arcane secrets of altering the fabric of reality. You can now cast journeyman level alteration spells. Excellent. So now I can go in here and I can say, I want to open locks and I want them to be average locks. Open average lock. Confirm. Boom. And I'll create it. There we go. Now I have, you always have to remember to hit create at the bottom. I sometimes forget that. I name it. I'm like, why isn't it over here? You have to hit create at the bottom. It's sort of weird the way that is. Okay, so now if I go over here, I have open average lock. And I didn't have to like go hunt down some NPC for it. I just did it right here at the spellcrafting altar. It's like wonderful. Okay, so. And I didn't hit 15, so that's kind of cool. I can still stay at 14 for now. All right, what is the next stage? Well, I don't want this to stay here. I want this to go away. But I created it. How do I get rid of this? I want to get rid of this. It's just cluttering up. And this right here, it's weirdly named. I don't like the way I named this. I have regrets. I am full of regret. Well, what can you do? Well, you could delete the spell. How do you do that? Well, I just left click and I delete the spell. Well, that's cool. That's great that they added that to the game. They didn't. I had to use a mod to do that. Okay, so let's look at the mod real quick. If I go over to and launch Vortex Mod Installer, which I'm launching right now from, well, at least I thought I was, yeah, Vortex Mod Manager. This is the program that I use to get mods from Nexus Mods, and I use it to update my mod. So like I can click here, check for updates. Let's see if anything's been updated. Checking mods for updates. Nope, no updates. So what are we looking for here? We're looking for delete spells.
What's the
So this is, if I go here and I choose, like if I right click this and I choose open on Nexus Mods, it's going to open the page. So here we go.
Take care.
Also a warning, do not delete the default healing spell. Never delete this spell. It'll really mess everything up. So with that little warning out of the way, and with obvious some, there's still bugs and everything because, it's not perfect. Everyone's still iterating and working on it, but this works really, really well. I've not had a single problem with it. But you basically, if you have Vortex, you use this one right here, in my opinion, because I use OBSE. Don't download both of them. So I'm using OBSE, so I use this mod manager download here. And when the first time I did this, after I installed Vortex, it asked me, would you like to open this file with an application on your computer? I'm like, yeah, I'd like to open it with Vortex. And the way you can look at that is if you look down here, I can see that NXM files are opened with Vortex, and you have to set that for the first time. The first time you open an NXM file using the Mod Manager download option. But once you set that up, your browser, at least Firefox for me, remembers that. So now I can just download some other mod. Like I can go to my, I can check for new mods, and I can say, White Alien Ruins. Let's just check this one out. I just want to test it, right? So I go in here, I read up about it, and I go, let's use the Mod Manager download option. So I say slow downloads because I'm not subscribed, and now it's going to appear in this list somewhere. Oh, it's down here. White Alien Ruins. And now it's installed. And note, whoop, there we go. It's all updated, all good to go. Now, if for some reason I wanted to temporarily, like I don't want that just yet, I want to just hold it in the background, I can click on this enabled and it becomes disabled. So it's not actually installed. And if I decide I don't ever want to use this, I can just click remove and remove it. Like I can remove the mod, I can delete the archive. And so this application, if you've ever used World of Warcraft or Elder Scrolls Online, this application is sort of like CurseForge or Minion
Hello, Guildman.
for those two applications. But it's also like the built-in mod
Probably the finest
system that lets you turn on and turn off mods by just clicking enabled and disabled. Like you can see I've disabled Better Trade menu here. Now, this particular mod, the one that, you know, I showed you here, let's go back over to this. So this delete spells, it says it requires OBSE. Now, OBSE is Oblivion Script Extended, and there's a newer version of that for Oblivion Remastered called OBSE 64, and I have that installed as well. That's right here. And if I right-click this and I open in Nexus Mods, you can see that it has a mod manager download as well, and it's compatible with runtime. And notice it shows I've downloaded it with 0.411.140.0. If you go to your game executable and right-click and choose preferences, and you can dig around there, you can see that the game as it is, as of the moment I'm writing or recording this, is version 0.411.140.0. So this version of OBSE 64 works with this version of Remastered. Maybe tomorrow Remastered could be updated on the Steam app. That's what I'm using. I can't vouch for other methods of installing and what to use there. All I can say is I'm using Steam. This works really well. If you're using Steam, if you're using the Game Pass edition or you're using some other edition, I can't vouch for any of this. You'll have to sort of fumble your way through or use other online resources to figure it out. But anyway, with both of those installed, with OBSE 64 and with the delete spells mod added, you can come in here, create spells. You can use them temporarily, or if you don't like the way you named them, you come up with some better naming scheme. Boy, these guys are annoying. Let me lower their volume even more. Shut up, people. No more dialogue from you. Once you figure out that you don't like them anymore, you don't like the names, you're like, ah, I hate this. You just shift left click. You want to delete the spell? Yep, all good. Like this heal minor wounds, you never want to delete that. This is, out of all of these, you never want to delete this one. You could literally delete every other spell in here and you'd be fine. You could remake them in the altar because you know them now. Like internally, you might not know this spell anymore, but you know the effect that sits behind the spell. The bind dagger on yourself, whatever level it happens to be. So now you might be wondering, so how do I get more of these effects? I want to make all the things, or I want to be able to make all the things. So I have, you know, that was cool the way you made that open lock spell, so you can now open average locks. And of course, I will come back and make one that opens hard locks, right? And then I'll make one that opens very hard locks. I can come in here later on when I'm much, much higher level in my alteration, and I can go very hard locks. Open very hard lock. And I could say, yep, but of course I can't do it now because it requires alteration of 79 or 75. So a future time, right? But now I can basically just run up to any lock and just unlock it, doesn't matter what it is, unlock. Don't need lock picks, don't need security anymore. It's just magic. Love it. So how do you get all these other spell effects that you can just use to imbue your weapons or your spells with new effects? Well, in my chart here, I have what I've done to find these things, but let's look at a master list here. Let's scroll this down a little bit and see this list that I made. Now, this is not exhaustive. I didn't include everything. These are the ones that I care about right now for various reasons. There's others. There's maybe like 24 others that you can get. So what I've done is I've sort of compiled a list. This is alphabetical according to a page on UESP. So if you go to uesp.net, you go to Oblivion, and then if I go in here and I go spell list, I believe it is. No, it's not that. Let me go to spells, skills. Where is it? Not this. There is a spell list, and it's not this one. But there's a list that lists all the spells in order. Let me go here. Spell list. Here it is. Okay, so it's spells by effect. I should create a link for this. Okay, so Wiki Oblivion, list of spells by effect, separated by underscores. I should have just bookmarked this, right? But you can see that this is all the effects, not spells. Like, this is not a spell. This is an effect. So, absorb attribute is an effect of the school restoration. So, absorb fatigue, absorb health, absorb magicka, absorb skill, bound armor, right? It's not bound gauntlets, bound boots. It's just bound armor, bound weapon, burden, calm, chameleon, charm, not beguiling touch, not captivate, not alluring gaze. It's just charm. And this is what you'll see in the spell making altar. So I go up here and I see charm, because that's the effect, not the spell name. I'm after the effect. I get that effect by learning a spell of some kind, whether it's from a tome, from an NPC, from my racial, from choosing certain majors. Like if I chose conjuration major, I could learn how to conjure a skeleton. If I chose, well, everyone learns restore health, right? So that doesn't count. But if I chose, let's see here. If I chose alteration as a major, I would learn open easy lock right away. So I would that would suddenly add open lock to this list where it didn't exist before. So now the question is, how do we add more things, right? We have to figure out what you want, and I did that there in that list. And then you can also consult this if you want to add others to your list, right? There's tons of effects here that you can learn. And this sort of answers one of the issues that I had earlier where I needed restore luck, and I could only train it from one NPC which had died. But fortunately, I learned it from a tome, but there are ways around that. So for example, if I go to Altar of Spellmaking, the moment you learn restore an attribute like luck or strength or whatever, you not only know the spell like restore luck or restore strength, but you've also learned the effect restore attribute. So you can go in here and say, I want to restore strength on myself of just the minimum magnitude. I can say restore strength, and that's it. Just a basic restore strength spell. And I can say confirm. I'll create it. And now, if something debuffs me with like a disease or something or some sort of a magical effect that kills my strength, maybe it's a curse or something, I just come in here and hit restore strength and cast that spell. Now, I don't want that spell in my spell book, so I'm just going to quickly delete it. But that's how easy it is. Once you learn one of them, you learn all of them. Because it's not restore strength, it's restore attribute. Same thing with skills. If you learn restore a specific skill or fortify an attribute or a skill. So fortify willpower. Once you learn any of them, it's just called fortify attribute, right? So let's go back to that one page real quick. History, list of spells by effect, fortify attribute. Learn one of these, you know them all. Because what you're learning is not just this, it's fortify attribute. Again, down here. Restore attribute. If you learn any one of these, you learned all of them for the spell making, because it's really restore attribute. Now, restore health is different. Restore fatigue is different. Those are main stats. Those are different. And the same thing is true with, if you go up here, absorb health. Notice it's a separate entry. Absorb fatigue. Not that I recommend you use those. In fact, I recommend you don't use these. They're not good. They cost too much, which is another thing to consider. But this is basically, it sort of gives you an overview of where to go, how to figure this out on your own, priorities, and maybe some ideas about how you might want to approach this. This is the way I approached this. I created a big spreadsheet based on School of Magic and I figured out I want this, I want this, I want this. What's the cheapest way to get it? Where can I get, weakness to frost? Well, I want to learn this. I haven't learned it yet, so I can go to Silenus Vasinus at Skingradge's Mages Guild and learn this, but I can also learn this and this and this from him. And I want all of those. I want them all so I can create, maybe a dagger that has weakness to fire and fire damage. So it would be soul trap, fire damage, weakness to fire, weakness to magic, right? Because they sort of all amplify each other. So if I'm up against an enemy that already has an innate weakness to fire, I can surely zerg him down really fast. Like undead have an innate weakness to fire. I can just, he's dead, like in no time. I can mark this one off, reset it. Now I can open average locks. So I'm good there. And that's my approach to spellcrafting. So let's say that you wanted to go find an ability that you don't have. Well, you can use uesp.net like I did to create a list of effects that you want to learn. So that's what I did. I created an effect list, sort of. And I wanted to learn Drain Health for sure, because you can see here it's base cost, which is sort of like a number that's used to calculate how much magicka is used to cast it. You can see the base cost is only a small fraction of Absorb Health or Damage Health. So if I were to put Drain Health on that same dagger as like a 5th effect, I wouldn't want Absorb Health or Damage Health. I would want Drain Health because it's much cheaper. Yes, it works differently, and you can learn how that is, and that's actually really good. This can be used like an execute maneuver. So when the enemy drops below a certain amount of health, it'll just zap them all the way to 0. It's kind of cool. But I leave that to you to look up. That's what this is, really. It's an execute. But I want to learn at least one more thing here. And I want to learn Fortify Health, because see this right here? This red text? This is a problem for me. Because when I went to the Bruma's Mages Guild, I didn't learn this skill from Selena Orania. I can't get to her now because I did the quest A Plot Revealed for the Arcane University after I made it to the point where I could make spells and enchant things. And I was doing quests not for just the individual mages guilds around the world, but now I was doing quests for the Arcane University to progress my way up the hierarchy, right? So this quest basically removes Selena Orania from access. I can't get to her anymore. So I can no longer learn Fortify Health. Well, that is a unique spell. If we look at the list of things, Fortify Health up here, well, I didn't enter it. I probably should have, right? Fortify, or is it, no, yeah, it's Fortify Health. I forgot to add it here because I was like sort of brain farted on the list. But Fortify Health, if we go to that other thing real quick, list of spells by effect, we go down to Fortify. There's no other way to fake your way into Fortify Health. It is its own thing. Fortify Health. It is not just the spell, right? But it's also the effect. So I can't get it by sort of sideways fortifying attribute, and then choosing Fortify Health. It's not listed there. I can't get it by learning Fortify Fatigue and then just switching over to the health option. There is none. I can't do Fortify Skill, like Fortify Blade, and then swap over to Fortify Health. So, for example, if I go in here and I say Fortify Magicka, there is no option to change that to Fortify Health, right? If I choose Fortify Fatigue, I get no option to Fortify Health. So I have to find that spell some way. Now, you might not be in my predicament. Hopefully you're not. Hopefully you didn't do this quest before you bought Fortify Health. But I do have a backup, and that is a Heaven Stone. What are those? Well, there's 2 kinds of stones in the world. Well, there's 3 kinds, I think, right? Yeah. There's birth stones, there's heaven stones, and then there's, well, maybe it's just the 2 kinds. I forget. So we have birth stones, birth sign stones, and heaven stones. And this is the Oblivion magical _ stones page. And The difference between these two kinds of stones, birth sign stones and heaven stones, is birth sign stones, you can only have one of them at a time. Heaven stones, you could have all of them at once, except this last one, it doesn't exist. It's not in the game. But these, you can have one at a time. Right now, I have the effect that I got from the Tower Stone, which is, well, there's two of them, the Master's Hand and the Warden's Key. This one fortifies my armor. This one's open hard lock. That's why, but it's like these skills all have like a 1-day cooldown, but it does teach you the underlying effect. So if I'd never learned how to unlock a lock before, I could learn this Warden Key spell, and that would have added open lock to this list over here. I would get the effect from learning the spell, even if it's a spell on a long cooldown. If I want to learn how to paralyze, I have to go learn Cobra's Dance from the Serpent Stone. And there's like a link to a map of where you can find it and so forth. Now, one spell I do want to be able to make is Chameleon. You see, I don't know Chameleon right now. Maybe I want to put that on a weapon or on a piece of armor, or I want to be able to chameleon myself as I'm stabbing something or as I'm shooting something to sort of make myself more hidden as I'm shooting, right? Because when you use the item, it casts the spell sort of in the background. So how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to go to my list here. Let's actually go to this list, and you can see Fingernail Moon. I already have it. So I get that from the Shadow Stone. This is the spell I want. This is the spell I need to learn this effect. Sorry, effect, not spell. So Fingernail Moon, I learned from the Shadow Stone. And there's the spell name. There's the effect that I learn. So let's see where this is. This is way over here on the east side of Tamriel. It's north of Brille. This is Brille down here. This is southeast of the Imperial City. And it's right here, just to the southeast of Fort Caldrian. So let's go find that on the map here real quick. And let's go get the Tower Stone. Or, sorry, the Shadow Stone. Now, remember, you can only have one of these at a time. So I'm going to lose my Warden's Key spell. So if I look in here, I have Warden's Key. Remember this, right? That's the one that I cared about. The other one I don't really care all that much about. But this one, to me, is a big deal as I'm low level and I want to be able to open hard locks with just a single spell and not have to sit there and fidget with the lockpicks forever. So let's go down there. Keep that in mind. I know that spell right now. We're going to go down here. So, whoops. I hate that when it does that. Okay, so the Shadow Stone is right here. So I'm going to go down to Fort Kedrian. I think it's Cedrian. Like Cedric the Entertainer. I did deliberately come and learn this location earlier today just for this reason. Okay, there's my horsey. Good horsey. And now we're just going to go a little bit to the southeast. Sort of, yeah, southeast this way. Oh, really? All right. Let's go ahead and get out my zombie. My headless zombie will take care of him very quickly, because the headless zombie is quite powerful. Oh, wow, this bandit's tough. Here, how about another zombie for you? All right, I'll go ahead and get out my stabby. There we go. Up. Now, the reason it complained, ooh, nice, I can sell that, is because I don't have another black soul gem in my inventory. And only black soul gems can capture the souls of humans, which, yes, it's a cat, it's Khajiit, but it's, it's a human like us, basically. It walks on two legs, it speaks, it has, personality and all that stuff. Okay, I hear the battle music again. So let's save the horse by bringing out my zombie. Make it just a little bit brighter here, so I can see around a little bit better. Even though it kills the effect of being, what is it, 4:54 p.m. I guess it's all right. It's not nighttime yet. So now remember, when I click this, I have the Warden's Key spell down here, right? Warden Key. When I click this, it's not going to do anything because it's not after 6 p.m. But if I do wait 1 hour, so at 6 p.m. roughly, I'm going to wait a few more seconds until it's 6 p.m. There we go, 6 p.m. So, marked by a special fate, you rule your destiny. Do you choose to see by the stars of the shadow? Yes, I do. Thank you. The stars, ooh, look at that. Fingernail Moon added to this player spell list. Stars of the shadow shine upon you. You've gained the Fingernail Moon greater power. Awesome. So what is that greater power, which we've already seen? Fingernail Moon, Chameleon on Self. Now, what happened to my Warden Key spell? It's gone. So I lose that spell because you can only have one birth sign stone at a time. Now, what happened to my Thief ability, right? Because I chose Thief when I was in the dungeon, when I was in the sewers, talking to the Emperor, and then I talked to, what's his face, Boromus, or whatever his name is afterwards, and he's like, you know, what's your sign, dude? You want to go out? Hey, baby, what's your sign? Well, I'm the Thief, and I'm still the Thief. I still have all those abilities, even though I learned this special spell from the Birth Sign Stone. I also have this one from another Birth Sign Stone, the Aetherius Stone. So you can stack all these things together. So this is actually how I learned Resist Magic, for example, and how I learned Fortify of all the different, you know, or well, I guess just this one. Fortify Magic is its own thing. You can't combine it with other things. But so I learned Resist Magic and Fortify Magicka from just learning this one thing. And I didn't even try. It was just there, and I clicked on it, and it was like, yay, I learned it. Okay, so now what if I want to get my tower effect back? Right? Let's go do that. Let's go to Vin Diesel. Because I want my Warden Key back. I miss my Warden Key. I want that back. So it's this way. Ooh, it's really weird how it was suddenly light and then dark. Should be right over here. Right? There it is. Still nighttime. So I swapped. Now I'm going to swap back. Yes. The stars of the tower shine upon you. You gain the Warden Key and the Master's Hand greater powers. Uh-oh, I lost the other power. I can no longer cast Fingernail. Am I screwed? Did I lose Chameleon? Oh no, what's going to go on here? Let's go to the Arcane University to find out. I learned it, then I gave it right back up. Ah! The horror. I'm going to go back. Let's go this way. And go to the spell making or spellcrafting altar at the Praxographical Center. Come here to the altar of spell making. And Chameleon. Ugh, it's gone. What did I just do to myself? Yeah, you have to actually make something first. And I believe that's what trains you in it. So what I should have done was learn it, then craft it, then I'd be good. So let's backtrack that. Let's load game. When I'm... I think, let's just go to the Nibene Basin. Doop-de-doop-de-doo. All right, so let's make sure we have this new spell. Fingernail Moon. I'm going to go back to the Arcane University. Remember, I want my Warden Key back. I need that. I desire that greatly. But I also want to keep Chameleon. So I'm just going to run in here. I'm gonna come in here and say, yay, there it is, chameleon. Save chameleon. God, I can't spell today. All right, doesn't matter what it is. It can be anything. I'll just say self. It could be the lowest duration, whatever. Confirm. Create. All right, so now I have it as a dedicated spell that exists in my spell book. So it's right there, chameleon on self. So now let's go to the Tower Stone and get that one back. Let's go to Vindassel. Go to Vin Diesel. You know they named it after that, right? They had to have. Oh, hi, Bandit. They love to shoot my horse, but now they will have to contend with my... Oh, there we go. I need to rest and meditate on what I've learned, apparently. Where is he? Oh, he's over here. There we go. That red weird stuff is the soul trap, by the way. Oh, I'll take that silver dagger, thank you. Let's also take an iron bow for example purposes. Okay, so let's do the Tower Stone. Yes. I get Warden's Key back, or Warden Key. I lose my finger spell, right, or that whatever that was, fingernail or whatever it was. I get my Warden Key back, and I keep my save chameleon. So I still know chameleon, so I can still use that at the altar. So if I go back over to the Arcane University, and of course we can test if I delete the chameleon spell, do I still know it? Let's test that. It's possible that I'll need to save that spell in my spell book for the effect to be available at both the enchanting altar and the spell making altar. But we'll test that. All right, so I'm going to go to the altar of spell making, and of course I have the chameleon effect, and I can make a new spell if I want to. But let's do a quick save here. Okay, then I'll go in and I'll delete this version of it. So yes, I want to delete it. Now if I go over here, it's gone. So yeah, you need to keep it in there if you want to be able to make more of them. So let's go ahead and reload this quick save. So I have the save chameleon effect, and I only need that temporarily, right? Eventually I'll make a good one that I want to keep, because there's my chameleon effect again. Because I still have save chameleon in my list. So I don't want to delete this until I make something else that uses it. Now, it's possible that I can enchant a piece of gear, and that will sort of bind it to my effect list. I don't know, I haven't tested that yet, but it's just something that you can maybe test on your own if you want. Now, what other effects do I really want? Let's look at some of these other things. So I know this one. I'm going to set this to be green, or I did know it at one point. So I've obtained chameleon using this. I actually obtained invisibility using a tome, so I don't need to do this one. And I don't need to do this one, right? Let's look and see if I have... I do believe I have Fortify skills, but I do want this Fortify health. Remember, there was a problem with that because I can't get it this way. Let's go find the Jode Stone, and I will use that. So this is different than a Shadow Stone, because notice how I put at 30 renown. Now, what's up with that? If I go back to this list, you can see these are birth sign stones. You can only have one at a time. But the Heaven Stones, like the Joan Stone, the Aetherius Stone, and the Jode Stone, you can have them all. Problem there is you can have them all, but there are requirements, specifically renown. So 10, 20, 30, all the way up to 70 renown. Well, how do you get renown? Well, renown is merely the sum of your fame and your infamy. So right now I have 61 renown. That's the sum of those two items. So when you're first starting the game, you got to get to 10 renown before you can even use the first one, which is the Jones Stone, right? But that will give you invisibility. It'll give you the ability to create spells that fortify sneak. You can add it to your armor if you want to. You can add fortify acrobatics. You can add fortify athletics, and it won't be 30 points probably. Maybe 3 points, 4 points, because this is like a fully leveled spell that has a 1-day cooldown. So this is very, very, very powerful version of these things. But you'll at least be able to add like little baby versions to your armor. You can make a little baby invisibility spell that maybe lasts 3 seconds, if you're level 1. It won't be like, 30 seconds or whatever this one is. So if we go in here and we look at my Jones Shadow as it is now, do I have the Jones Shadow? I don't think I do. No, I don't. Okay. So I'm not going to worry about that. I'll let you do that. But I do want to get the Jode Stone, which will give me Fortify Health, which is a skill I definitely want, just for completion's sake. I probably don't really need this, right? It's not as important as Fortify Magicka, but I want it just for completion's sake. So let's go see where this is. This is right here, and it is due south of Bellator's Folly, which most people discover on their way to Kvatch. So I'm going to travel there, and then I'm going to go due south to the Jode Stone. So here, I'm back out. Bellator's Folly. Remember, I already have a Heavenstone effect, the Aetherius one, right? So if I look in here, and I see I have greater, what is it? I can never remember their names. What the hell is it called? There it is, Gates of Aetherius, right? So this comes from the Aetherius Stone, which you can get at 20. Well, you can look at the list again. But, so I'm going to keep this. Watch, this will stay. I'm not going to lose it. I'm just going to get on my horsey. Just going to travel due south once I lose these imps. Or maybe they'll follow me for a while. I'm heading due south. Let's not encounter these bandits or whatever might be there, if I can help it. I'm looking for this stone right over here. Due south of Kvatch, pretty much. I do need to sleep. That's one of my rules for playing this, but I'm not actually doing much, like combat-wise or anything while doing this. So get out of this. I'm going to summon my zombie. Is he going to aggro onto something? Can I sleep? No, I can't. I can't wait. Maybe if I sneak for a while, I'll leave combat. There we go. All right, so I'm going to wait until 6 p.m., so that's 9 hours from now. So it's 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. is nighttime for using these stones. Doesn't matter if the stars are actually in the sky or not. It's just, that's when they consider it to be nighttime. So you can see there's no actual stars in the sky. We'll just go over here. We'll wait just a few moments. 557, 558, 559. Cast this, so he attacks that guy. And now on Jode's face, the hero's doom is traced. You've gained the Jode's blood greater power. Confirm. Now, if I go to my list, you can see I still have the Gates of Aetherius because it's a Heavenstone. But I also have Jode's blood, and that taught me Fortify Health. And I have this forever now. I have this. I'll never get rid of Jode's blood. It'll just always be in here unless I'd like delete it. But why would I do that? Maybe. But I also learned all the. Once you learn one of these, the Fortify skill, you learn all of them, as I've shown you. So this is a good way to learn all the Fortify skill effects. Why is that guy just standing there? Let's go back to here, the Arcane University, and you'll see that I now have Fortify Health, and I can mark this off my list. Say, yes, I do this, I know this. So this one is green. This one becomes white. And I can remove these frames around the outside. So I just go here and I say empty. There we go. We'll go in. Praxographical. Spell writing. Go back here. Now I have Fortify Health. There it is. Didn't have that before. Now I have it. And of course, if I didn't have Fortify skill listed here before, I would have it now. And not only did I learn how to fortify the few skills that were in that spell, I learned how to fortify all of them, even the ones that were not a part of that. So it's a really nice way that the Fortify, Absorb, and Restore system works for spells. And I even have that on my chart up here. So like Absorb, Fortify, or Restore an attribute, main stat, or skill. So this is all one thing right here, right? So you learn one of these with an attribute, you learn them all. You learn one of these with a main stat, you have to learn the others. With the skill, any one of these will teach you all the ones for all the skills. Then of course, cure disease or poison, resist magic. Those are all different things. But anyway, I hope this helped. Now, the last thing I want to get is, since I can't get anything done in expert because I'm only at journeyman and things, but I do want to get reflect spell. And I could learn it, but I want to get it for free. So this is the Shazar stone. So let's go back to that stone list. Not the game map, but I want the stones. I guess I have a little thing over here I can just go to. Magical stones. There we go. So I want this Shazar stone because I want reflect spell. I want to learn that effect, not the spell. I want the effect. Now this place is just to the west of the White Stallion Lodge, which is, let's go outside. Way down here by Leowin. So I'll go there. And remember, this is a heaven stone, not a birth sign stone. So I can learn this in addition to the other birth sign stones. So I won't lose those other effects. Should be right over here. Excellent. Again, I do have to wait until at least 6 p.m. in the evening. See what time it is. I need to wait 6 hours. The Shade of Shazar shrouds the hero's doom. You have gained the Shield of Shazar, greater power. All right. So now I have Shield of Shazar. So I have this one. I have Jode's Blood. I have Gates of Aetherius. I have them all at the same time. And this one taught me Reflect Spell. And these others I would already know because they're just skills, right? And I already know how to make all the skill ones from doing the Jode one. If I didn't have these, I already had them, right? Because this is just redundant as far as spell making goes. Or enchanting on weapons or armor or whatever. Learn one, learn them all, as far as skills go, or attributes. But this one is the one I wanted. All right, so let's get on Horsey. Let's go do one last thing that I wanted to do, and that is, I'll mark this green. I want to learn these 4 abilities because I want to ultimately use Corrode Armor to help level my armorer skill. That's a different video altogether. Weakness to fire, weakness to frost, and this should be weakness to shock. Silly me. Or no, I already have weakness to shock. Weakness to poison, that's it. Okay, so you can do all 3 of these weaknesses. And this is Sullinus Vassinus in Skingrad. So let's go to Skingrad. Let's go to Skinflute. And again, you only have to learn it once at the lowest possible level you can obtain it, and then you know it forever, and you can use it in spell making, you can use it in enchanting. Because it's not about learning the spell, it's about learning the effect behind the spell. And you need only do that once. There he is. All right, so let's make him love me. Love me, Joffrey. Jeffrey. Yeah, dialogue's turned off because they were getting really annoying. All right, so let's haggle a bit. He's a novice, so let's set this to like 86 maybe. And we want weakness. Here we go. Weakness to fire, weakness to frost, weakness to poison. Now, I already have weakness to shock, so this is probably showing up because it's like a different level than I learned, which was probably from a tome. But I don't need to learn this because I already know it, right? Because I already used it in an effect. So I'm going to go back outside. I can mark these off my list. And I probably should also weakness to poison. Did I learn weakness to poison? I thought I learned all his weaknesses. Should pay more attention. Okay, yeah, I did. Okay, so I also need to corrode armor. That's it. That's what I forgot. Yeah, shut up. You bother me. So I learned this one that I'll get into later. Whoops, this is white. Because this one you have to buy. The green ones for me means you can get it for free. You don't have to buy it. So now let's go back to the Arcane University as it nervously hunts in and out on the local and global map. So now I can weakness to fire, frost, magic, poison, shock. Excellent. Excellent. So I probably should have gone over to the enchant one because I wanted to make another dagger, but with a different set of things, right? And I wanted to do something on a bow to show you something interesting. Let's assume that you're using a bow and that you are using poisons on your bow. Well, what's a really good thing to do there? Well, you grab your bow, you grab some sort of a soul. I'm just going to use a little one for now. And you choose weakness to poison. Magnitude, let's say 20 for a duration of 20, for a duration of 1. So I'm going to confirm, say, whoop, enchant, whoops, ouchie, poison bow. All right, so now with ouchie poison bow, I can equip the ouchie poison bow, and I can use arrows and then imbue them with poisons from my poison thing, right? You have to do them one at a time. But if you had a whole bunch of poisons and you didn't know what to do with them, this ouchie poison bow would make those poisons stronger, right? Now, if I had also done like I think you can also add magic effect to that, right? Because like with the dagger, we did the amplifying it with increased magic or amplify magic. You can do the same thing with the bow so that, you know, of course it'll have fewer charges because you're doing things with it, but you could amplify it so that each time you send something, it like amplifies the effect of the poison. So just some ideas to throw out there that you could do. Oh, another thing I wanted to do was, let's say I have this silver dagger, and now I wanted to use a black soul gem, a grand soul, and I wanted to do a soul trap, right? Confirm. Doesn't need to be long. And then I wanted to do fire damage of magnitude 10. And then I wanted to do weakness to fire, which I now know 100%. Just double it. Every time I hit, it doubles it. Good. And now weakness to magic, which further doubles it. It's the weird combo of the two, right? It's the stacking effect of these two things. And it has to be in this order for it to work. Damage, weakness fire, weakness magic. Or weakness whatever. These need to be paired up so that they match, right? But this one is always by itself as a weakness to magic. So then I can say fiery dagger. Let's see. Dagger of flames, yes. Now I've created a dagger of flames. And it has 55 charges, a full 1,600. Look at that. That's nice. So now I can stab things 55 times. I'll soul trap it. This 10 fire damage will get multiplied every time I hit. So like if I were to attack an undead enemy, they're already predisposed to being damaged with fire. So I already have a leg up on the weakness to fire out of the starting gate. So this 10 might be 15 on the first hit, and then it'll ramp to 60, then, 300 or whatever it is. Not 300, but 240, and then 960 with each subsequent hit. But anyway, that's how that all works. And the fact that it's a silver dagger as opposed to a dwarven dagger, right? Like 3 damage versus 5 damage, or where it was, yeah. Where is it? 5. Dagger of Flames. Shock the monkey, that's it. So this one's 5, this one's 3, but this number means nothing. We're not hurting him with this damage. We're hurting him with the stacking shock damage or the stacking fire damage. So you could use a steel dagger. You could use an iron dagger that has 1 damage. Wouldn't make a difference because that's not what is killing them. It's the stacking magic damage of whatever it is you're trying to add to them. So I think that's all I wanted to show. Let me make sure here. So we have this list of the effects that I was interested in. You can see that some of these are extremely expensive. Like Paralyze is insane. So if you want to add Paralyze to something, it's going to eat up a good portion of like the weapon enchant. It's going to be like half of it or 3/4 of it. You'll have not much room for much else. Restore Attribute is expensive. Silence is very expensive. Soul Trap would be expensive, except we're only using it for 1 second, right? So 1 second of a 30 is very little. Paralyze for 1 second, it's still going to be expensive because look at the ratio of those two. This is like, 15 times as powerful or 15 times as expensive. It would be like using a soul trap for 15 seconds on this one. Water breathing and water walking are generally not a problem. You'd put those on like armor, and the water breathing, water walking, they're just permanent effects. It doesn't matter what these would cost if they're on a piece of armor. The summons, they're all different. Oh yeah, I should show you that. So let's look at the summons real quick. So I've learned various summons. And one thing about summons, it's sort of like Fortify Magic and Fortify Health. You can't use one to make the other. So just like I can't learn Fortify Magicka and then use that to make my health and my fatigue one, I have to learn each of these 3 things separately, right? They're each extremely unique and not exchangeable, in other words. The same thing is true with Summon Ghost or a Zombie or a Scamp or whatever. I can't use one of these to make one of the other ones. So if I say Summon Scamp, I can't change this effect. I can only change the duration. I can't use this to make some other more powerful creature of some kind. So I just wanted to point that out. Now, if I wanted to do 120 seconds, that's a waste. If I wanted to only do 10 seconds or 1 second, I could comically do that. I could say quick scamp. I just like to hear him scream over and over. So I go in here and I go quick scamp. He goes away almost as quickly as it arrives, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. I don't want to keep that in here. Just as an example. So there's that, and then what else did I want to show? Enchanted items. Yeah, I showed you the basic way that I like to build, you know, and I didn't come up with this. I got this from people online, like the old Knight and some other people that are like, they've been playing this game for far much more than I have, and much more recently too. So they know all the tricks. So I got this from them. So whatever the damage is here, you repeat it here, and then weakness to magic. Soul Trap, 1 second. Shock or fire or frost, low amount, doesn't need to be big. The bigger this is, the more the fewer charges you're gonna have, because it's gonna ramp up anyway. Every hit's gonna ramp up to 4 times what it was before. It's gonna go up exponentially, assuming you can keep hitting. And there's a trick where, like with a dagger, where you're like 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? That fourth one is a longer one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what you do is you cancel the fourth one by opening the wheel real fast. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And it just resets it so you can just keep going really fast. Otherwise, that fourth hit, see, it takes longer. It's like stab, 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 stab. And that 1 second duration can run out and then everything resets. You don't want that. So that's maybe a reason to go to 2 seconds or even 3 seconds, but then you're going to eat up charges on your weapon really fast. Anything else here? Yeah, I explained the Vortex mod thing. So managing your crafted spells, you can delete them, install Vortex Mod Manager, install the OBSE 64 mod, install the delete spells mod. OBSE version is what I use. I've never tried the ASI version. That might be what you need for like the Game Pass version, maybe. I don't know. For me, I have to launch Steam first, so it has to be running already, and then I launch Oblivion Remastered using the OBSE launcher, which I have a shortcut to it on my desktop. But if I wanted to show you where that is, I could go open file location. So the OBSE installer installs this DLL, installs this loader. There's the backup files for those that Vortex creates. And this is in the Oblivion Remastered shipping folder, the application folder. So instead of double-clicking this or instead of launching it from Steam, you have to launch it from here. And I'll show you what that looks like. Let's go ahead and just save this. I'm going to quit. Yes. I'm going to shut this. I'm going to close this. Now we just have this folder. Let's make sure that Steam is quitting, or make sure the application is quitting. Sometimes it likes to just hang out here and stay running. I'll give it a second to sort of self-terminate. Nope, it's not doing it. Okay. So it's the summation of all the mods that are doing all that. I don't know if it's one or many or whatever. So now the little cloud icon there means it's uploading my saves to the Steam cloud. So I'll wait till that's finished. Come on, you can do it. Finish saving, baby. Close and reopen, and it might, nope, it's still uploading. It's having a hard time uploading. Maybe their cloud is bogged down or something. Well, either way, I'll go ahead and just relaunch this. So I'm going to relaunch this by clicking OBSE loader, and you'll see that it'll have like a terminal window that opens up really quickly, and then it'll disappear. It's like sort of setting its ducks in a row for loading this in the background, so it sort of inserts it into the way that the application runs. It sort of shims its way in. So we'll load this, watch the, there it is. See that? It was really fast. Now we're just waiting for the game to launch. There it is. And this is Reshade. This is an OBSE. And there we go. OBSE is loaded. And now I can delete spells. And that is the super long explanation of how to do spellcrafting and enchanting with all the other little fiddly bits thrown in.